Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Here we have Matt on a mono red prison build versus me on camera. This is a Multi 5. Now, I'd played him previously in the tournament. He was my only loss. And now in the finals, we are facing off again. And I am pretty sure he's going to have a turn 1 Blood Moon. I mulled to Force of Will. And, you know, it's an interesting decision. I don't know if I should have Force of Willed that Chrome Mox. The way this game is playing out, it looks like that would be the case, not having a second red source. It would be literally 0 red. There's also something to be said for what are your odds of winning a game when you are on a Multi 5 versus a keep on 7 or even 6. And here, Caves of Chaos Adventurer shows up, gains the initiative, and man, if you've played against this mechanic with an empty board, you know just how much of a downhill run it is. The advantage piling on more and more each turn. Now in this case, the Caves of Chaos Adventure also a quick clock on its own, so this is going to be 4 turns at most, one way or another. Possibly less, so the advantage continues to grow each turn thanks to the benefit of the initiative venturing into that dungeon, or the Undercity. That Scry 2 gets a couple of dead cards out of the way. And swings for 5. Actually play this land off the top. We are confirming that it's not casting. Big as the initiative was, I actually haven't got to play against it that often. When it was at its height, actually wasn't able to play in many of our events. Usually only play if it's a smaller turnout or to get rid of the buy. Cephalid Illusionist arrives in hand thanks to Step Through. And there is a goad incoming. Question how that's going to play out. There he is. So still force blue card in hand. Not a bad showing for a Multi 5, but things are getting continually less and less likely. Thanks to both the Chalice and the growing advantage of the initiative. Orm's Chant there, stranded in hand. Not able to utilize that with the Chalice in 1. Even kicking it won't actually matter. Like we've got a Legion War Boss. Gets a Force of Will. That would close out things just too quickly. And Trinisphere is bad news when you're sitting there on 2 lands. Though the only card in my deck that really matters from here is actually Urza's Saga. So Urza's Saga off the top would be a card that could possibly help out. And make Construct, possibly stabilize and trade. And or just getting completely smashed here. Shatter Skull smashing takes out the Cephalid. And that's likely just to do it here. Jeff Menges illustrated skeleton token. Gotta love it. And just horrific amounts of damage. Den of the Bugbear piling on along with the Caves to just close that one out. Absolute mangling game 1. No things are grim when your opponent looks at your 2 lands, knows you don't have a land in hand, and declines to play their Trinisphere. You know that cannot possibly be a good situation for you. Chalice at 1. That actually has those nice looking retro frame ones. They all do the same thing though. They shut off the lower half of the combo, the Shuko and the Nomads, along with your cantrips. Ponder, Brainstorm, Ball Therapy. There's a lot of 1-drops, and Chalice at 1 very strong. Also, some of the sideboard cards being brought in are often 1 casting cost, Swords to Plowshares. Prior to the event, I actually considered bringing in Hydroblasts to my sideboard. Didn't have time to make the change. And after an absolute beating like this, you can be sure I will think long and hard on what the best way to combat this mono red prison deck is. It's one of the few matchups that I think I may not be favored in. I have lost to it actually twice in the same tournament, which very rarely happens, and then also lost to this in a finals of a previous event. So it is a legit menace to play against. I mean, sometimes you just have the Force of Wills and Force of Negations and brush aside their early plays and easily combo off and win, but that is not a ton of that Venn diagram. I would like to grow the amount of games I actually get to play against it. More often than not, it's just an absolute non-game, just a real beating. See here, another Chalice. Look at this. This is graphic. Oh, and a Blood Moon. Coming right back. So that first Chalice was answered by Prismatic Ending. The more efficient ways to answer Chalice. However, Matt responds with yet another Chalice and a Blood Moon, which gets rid of that Urza's Saga. That Saga would have been the path toward getting Tuco into play. Instead, Saga being more of a liability going to the graveyard. This is gruesome. Cephalid in play. Now I can activate the Cephalid to prevent damage to the Cephalid. But it's still going to be 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage from these tokens that'll continue to accumulate. Even though it can hold off the Rabblemaster itself. Oh, and Fury. What a mauling this game is. Like a advisory label on it. Fury just wiping out the board. Narcomoeba just for the lulls at this point. Let's see how much damage Matt can actually push through here. That is a wrap. Congratulations, Matt. What an absolute beating that was. Thank you for watching. For more magic from ELD's Time Vault games, be sure to subscribe and check out more videos just for you over here.